Welcome back to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna. I'm Kim.
And I'm Jonna.
And here we are back at Jonna's house. Yep. And
we're alone except for the dog.
I know, right? And the sun is shining and
beautiful.
It's still freezing cold, but
yes,
I keep thinking next month is March and spring starts in March. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
There is still snow on the ground. So.
Yes, there is still a bit of snow. I'm wondering if we'll have another. Sometimes we get one of those big March snows. Mm-hmm. But luckily it usually melts pretty quickly.
This last snow was so cool because it was so fluffy.
Yes.
That it looked like 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful snow. Big, fat, juicy flakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
so
cool.
fun. So today we are going to talk to you about baby blankets. I have knitted a lot of baby blankets.
And I've knitted one.
And I can't say I'm a baby blanket fan. I mean, I am. I've knitted a lot. I don't love knitting them, but I love gifting them. I love the idea of them. I feel like they're the perfect family heirloom. Because a sweater, you knit a sweater for a baby and they grow out of it. Mm-hmm. But the blanket can, in my mind, it lays on their bed as they grow up and they cuddle with it for comfort, and then they take it away to college with them, and then they give it to their children. That's what I imagine. And if it doesn't happen, that's fine. It's kind of like,
I think I chose the wrong blanket. Right there. None of those things is going to happen to the blanket I made, but that's fine. It's
fine. Your blanket is still a family heirloom. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It is.
But it's kind of like when I do dishes at someone else's house. I leave it all clean, and I imagine it just stays that way all day. When at my house, of course, when you do dishes at your house, then someone wants to put a dish in, and you're like, no! Anyway, off topic again, as usual. So it all started when I very first learned how to knit. I learned to knit after my son was born, and I don't even remember what I knitted back then. We know I knitted the dinosaur sweaters, but now I'm thinking, I thought I knitted those in Austria, but I think I knitted them here, actually, now that I think about it. When I see the size of the one that my granddaughter wore recently, actually, I'll insert a picture of it here. I put it on Instagram. The dinosaur one that I talked about in episode 1. But this I definitely remember finishing. This was my daughter Elena's baby blanket, and she did take it to college. And she still has it.
So this one you made in Austria?
No. I didn't know. We moved back to the U.S. When I was pregnant with her. So this one I knitted here.
Okay.
I have no idea what the yarn is. It feels acrylic-y. It's going to be hard. One thing I've realized, by the way, is it's very hard to take pictures of baby blankets. You can't really see the whole scope of it because then it's just a big faraway picture of this big flat thing. And when it's up close, you can't really see the whole thing. It's just, I find taking pictures of baby blankets very unsatisfying. And of course it's cute if you have a cute little crib set up and everything to do it, but I don't have that in my house anymore.
That right upstairs.
Oh, maybe we can go take pictures.
Yeah.
On Max's home away from home
I always
crib.
cheat and I look on Instagram or I look on Ravelry and see what other people have done to take a picture, because I'm not the photographer in this relationship, in case you didn't already know that. But my dad's a photographer, but your whole family is actively taking pictures.
My husband and my daughter actively take pictures, and so I don't have to bother them all the time. I pick their brains and I ask them suggestions, and I try to do it myself though.
But I just look for composition. Other people's arrangements and try to duplicate them as best I can.
So it's basically a lace, this diamond pattern. Hopefully you can see it. And there's a crochet edge. I asked my mom today, did you do the crochet edge or did I? I have no idea. My daughter just turned 31. The funny thing about this blanket is I was knitting it. It's big.
It is.
Look at how big it is.
Well, and it's not a simple project.
It's
big.
This is
an ambitious
It's going
project.
To the floor. You can't see it.
And you were a relatively still new knitter.
I was a new knitter.
Yeah. This is
it's
quite an undertaking.
It's all pilly, but who cares?
How long do you think it took you?
I don't know, but I do know that, you know how normally, if you don't know, usually when you start having babies, your first baby's born on the late side, your second baby may be more toward due date, and the third baby and so on are born earlier because your body's like, oh, I know how to do this. Mine were the complete opposite. And I'm convinced Elena was almost 2 weeks late because I was knitting this blanket. I kid you not. The day after I finished knitting it.
You were 2 weeks late?
Yes, with Elena.
Oh my
almost
goodness.
2 weeks late. 10 days maybe. The day after I finished knitting it, I went into labor.
Oh, wow.
Is that the craziest thing or what? I just so bizarre. But it has a crochet edge, and I don't crochet, and I don't remember doing the crochet edge. I remember wanting like a frilly, ruffly edge. I asked my mom today, did you do it? We have no idea who did it. I don't know what the pattern was or anything. But it's this big white blanket. She did take it to college. It does have holes in it that I have already repaired and that I still need to repair. So that's the very first baby blanket I made. And it was satisfying to me because she did keep it on her bed, keep it with her, take it with her when she got married and moved. So she's really, it's meant a lot to her. So then my next baby blanket was for my first grandchild, Scarlett. And this is it. This is one where I fell in love with the yarn first. Wow. This
is so thick. It's almost like
I think it's felted. I think it's felted. She probably washed it, but I don't care. Okay. But it's this yarn. I have no idea where I got it.
Wow.
I mean, back then, I would assume I got it at Flying Fingers in Tarrytown, but I'm not sure. Don't know what the pattern is. I tried to look for it. And I think I told you before I had my knitter's planner, I used this composition books. And the first blanket in my first composition book is Harper's blanket in 2017. So anything before 2017, I used to write on the pattern. But then my problem is then I lose the pattern or I lose the book and then I have no idea what I did. That's why I started doing a binder or something.
Yeah. I have an accordion like file folder that I'll put paper patterns in. Back when I did paper.
I have binders. Some of my patterns have 3-hole punch, but if they don't make it into there, at least I know that it's in.
There is this really cool website called Ravelry.
No, I'm not doing it. I was like waiting for some new thing.
I know, sorry.
But I think I fell in love with the yarn first. It's really soft, and then I had, probably it was Elise at Flying Fingers, helped me find this yellow.
Wow, I can't believe you still have that yarn. Well, Scarlett's only 9. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my stash, though. My stash is only...
oh, yeah, this is one of her brands. This is Flying Fingers.
It is?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe this was the same brand. I don't know, because it's hand-painted yarns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the tags. Because I didn't save the tags. And I didn't, back then, I didn't write the yarns in my binder either. I didn't write my needle size. I didn't write anything. So, who knows?
It's really hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
It's fine. So who knows? But I didn't even know about Ravelry then. So anyway, so this is the blanket. I was looking at it today. I don't remember.
Absolutely beautiful. It's very K-facet to me.
Yeah, I think there's slip stitches in it or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was looking at it. There's seams. Did I knit this yellow thing separately? What did I do?
Right. Or did you knit like panels and then you seamed them?
So
like there's a
here's an obvious seam. What is the, I don't know. I have no idea. If anybody recognizes this pattern, let me know what it is.
Right.
I feel like it was in a book. I used to always buy baby books, baby pattern books, because then I would have multiple, but I looked in the baby pattern books I have at home and it's not there. So,
and this one looks really functional. Like it looks warm. It doesn't have holes in it.
Yeah. I always worry if I knit one with holes, although Elena's has holes that their little baby toes are going to stick through, but she never had issues. Anyway, so that was Scarlett's blanket. Love it. But that brings up something else. What I started to do, instead of knitting these ginormous blankets, because since I knitted my grandchildren's blankets, I've also knitted some for friends, I decided if I'm going to give a gift blanket, I knit a blanket that's perfect for a car seat. Because when you take your baby, if they're not in a bunting thing, like a stroller blanket, but there's actually specific sizes. If you Google blanket sizes, they have like specific measurements. And I'm like, I don't care. So I just make it the size I want to make it, honestly. Usually maybe like 3 feet one way, and then I like it slightly longer, like not perfect square.
Still pretty big.
3 feet by something.
So
anyway,
36 by 48 or something like that.
Yeah. So then the next blanket was Isaiah's blanket. I'm really not going to go into details about all these. His was interesting. This I also definitely got from Flying Fingers. It's called the Simplicity Baby Blanket, and I think they wrote the pattern. And basically,
cotton. Feels quite cotton.
It's beautiful. I don't even know what the yarn is, but you start in this corner with a couple stitches, and then you're increasing along, so you're knitting around the corner. How do you like this? All the way, and it just gets bigger, and you knit till the yarn is finished, so I don't have any scraps. You knit till that's finished, and then you start the next color. So you're basically going like this and this, and it's garter stitch, super easy. And then the yellow, and they're all the same amount of yarn, but because I'm holding this right in front of my face.
Because it gets bigger and bigger, the stripes get smaller and smaller.
Yes. One thing I hate about this blanket is back then, my cast on row is much more firm than my bind off row. So this is somewhat oh no. No, on this one, my cast on row and my edge, it's not true. What is it? Oh no, because the cast on is only like 3 stitches. It's this side edge feels completely different than my bind off on the 2 red sides. But I didn't know about stretchy bind offs or anything then. So it's really soft. It's super light. It's small. What is that, like 2 feet by 2 feet? 24 by 24-ish?
It looks longer than that. About 2.5.
But I love the colors. It was easy. And that's Isaiah's blanket. That was the second one. And then the third one, it's Harper's, one of my favorite. One of my very favorite. A Chevron blanket. Her colors for her room were gray and yellow.
Yeah, pretty.
And so this is the Chevron baby blanket by, how do you say that? Espace Tricot. Espace Tricot. And I knitted it. I finally know it because it's in the thing. In Berrocco Vintage DK.
Which I think is a superwash, which is nice.
Is it a superwash? So I love this blanket. It's really beautiful. I just love this blanket. And this though makes me sad because these blankets, I mean, a lot of them end up in a basket in the kids' room, and they never used them. The only grandchild that really, really, really used his blanket is Matthias, which we'll get to that one. The rest of them just kind of sit there. So who knows? I would recommend if somebody knits something for you to use it. How do you feel about that?
Oh, for sure. But that said, since you have this vast experience, what would you recommend for a baby blanket? So one of the ones that you gifted didn't have any holes in it. It was moss stitch, I think. Or had a moss stitch border. You know, when I think about maybe, so the pattern I chose for Max's blanket. Oh, it's right here.
Show it.
This is the Cuddle Me by Manel.
I still need to get a really good picture of this.
It's so which is an absolutely beautiful blanket, and it's an heirloom, I think. You know, it does have holes in it, which, you know, it limits, you know, the amount of warmth. I guess you could double over. It's not huge, so it's really not even big enough.
But they're usually fully dressed. I mean,
yeah. So my daughter has a bunting. She has a beautiful
when it's really cold.
Yeah, but they use it. They use it on the stroller. It's in there permanently. It's a down bunting. It's like a down coat with a zipper, and it's great. And hers even came with like little mitts that you put your hands in
so fun.
to hold onto the stroller bar.
That's
you know?
great.
Yeah, I just don't know how functional this was. So, yeah. Yes,
but I feel like I want people to use them.
Oh,
I mean, if it's
sure.
not functional, if I knitted something that's like not functional and you don't like it, don't use it. I mean, that's fine.
And this is not superwash.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is knit in John Arbin Knit by Numbers.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely beautiful. But yeah. And I don't think he'll take it to college.
But you think back in the day, there was no superwash. I mean, people knitted blankets in wool. People knitted socks in wool with no nylon.
Right.
I mean, that's just what was done.
Right.
So I love this blanket. It's one of my favorites. And I don't even know if Harper knows that I knitted it.
Oh, really?
This is one of my very favorites.
You were knitting this when I met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is Ruby's blanket. And now that I made it, I think part of it too is I kind of pick out a pattern based on, I don't know how I imagine the child will be. I don't know what I like. I think Isaiah's looks sporty. Scarlett, it's a very strong blanket. The first child, a girl, her name is Scarlett. I knew I wanted to knit it in red. I don't know. Somehow I feel like the patterns I pick fit the child.
So do you cast them on before the baby's born?
Yes.
After the baby's born. Okay.
Well, it depends. In one calendar year, I had 3 new grandchildren. So no, in that case, I picked out the pattern and the yarn once I knew it was a boy or a girl, if they chose to find out, which they all do these days. And so I had everything ready. But Ruby's is absolutely the most gorgeous blanket. Did I hope her name would be Ruby or did I know? I can't remember. But it's Baby Babar by Heirloom Stitches. And I'm pretty sure it was Blue Sky Fibers Organic Cotton Worsted. Because now I'm feeling it. It's a heavy blanket, but it's so soft and gorgeous. Oh, let me say this.
Squishy.
One thing I love about baby blankets.
And it's washable.
Right, because it's super washed, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think it is, but at least it's cotton.
Is it? I thought it said.
I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Cotton worsted.
Yeah.
There was another one that was super wash. Reddington's.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ruched. It's so cool, and it has big eyelets.
Yeah.
But one thing about this is I don't remember what it was supposed to be. What it's supposed to be knitted in. But with baby blankets, it doesn't matter. You can pick any pattern and knit it with any yarn, really, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to fit anybody, right? If you knit it with a thicker yarn, it's going to be a bigger blanket.
Yeah, as long as you like the fabric.
Right, as long as you like the
not
fabric.
Too lacy,
right.
Yeah.
If you want a smaller blanket or a thinner blanket, a lighter weight blanket, then buy a lighter weight yarn. But you don't have to gauge swatch. You don't have to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it doesn't have to fit anybody. The
Right.
size is going to be the size. It's going to be the size. Who cares?
Right.
So a lot of times I fall in love with the yarn. Like with Ruby, I wanted a deep red yarn. So I think that's why I knitted it in this. I don't know if I did as many stitches as they called for, or if I made it smaller, but it's big, it's gorgeous, it's so soft.
It is.
But it is heavy.
It also looks like a garment just because it's ruched. And
yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get pictures of this. See little ends poking out. I always wonder, how short are you supposed to cut your ends after you weave them in?
I was reminded of this because I don't know who I was watching, but she hadn't cut any of her ends. She had woven them in, but hadn't cut any of them, and then she blocked her garment, and then she cut the ends. So I usually leave them a good inch and a half.
I think
2
I started
inches.
doing that because you told me.
Yeah, because I don't want them to poke through to the other side.
Right.
So, yeah, I watch a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
I think this was a happy knitting podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I remember sitting in Whole Foods.
Was I knitting this?
Yeah,
Oh.
chatting with you. And I think this is when we discovered that we were knitters.
That you were learning to knit in.
Yeah. I don't know what I was knitting.
It's so
Probably
funny.
my Sunday sweater.
Yeah. But, yeah, I love this one. I don't know if she
I think, was it you who told me, as long as the blanket's done by their first birthday? Is that what you
Really?
told me?
I don't know,
And
maybe.
maybe that's the reason that, Max's blanket didn't get used as much, because I finished it by his first birthday, not by his actual birthday.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
he was already 1
yeah.
by the time I finished it.
So it wasn't like
Yeah.
in his on the edge of his crib. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So the next blanket I made for my family was for Matthias, who now lives in France with his mom and dad. And he's the only one who actually really used his blanket consistently.
Wow.
And I knitted it in, I chose not to bring all the yarns. Right? I didn't bring it. I knitted it in Berrocco modern cotton. And I got that at Perfect Blend Yarn and Tea. I feel like a lot of times when I found out my kids were pregnant, I was like up north on vacation, and on the way back, I would buy yarn at Perfect Blend Yarn and Tea. I bought so many of my baby blanket yarns there. But I went in there and I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to make, and I saw this beautiful wide scarf. Or they call it a wrap. It was the Guernsey wrap, Guern. I don't know how to spell it. I'll put a little thing in. Guernsey wrap by Brooklyn Tweed. And I just kept looking for baby patterns, and I knew it was going to be a boy, baby patterns. And I think they were going more for like a jungle animal theme. So I was thinking like green and yellow and white. And I kept looking at this Guernsey wrap, and it was basically, I'll insert a picture of his blanket, I think, or maybe I can insert a picture of the pattern, but it basically was a pretty wide scarf wrap, and it had different stripes of different textures,
Right.
with just using purl stitches.
Like the Guernsey Potato Peel Pie Society. Have you ever seen that movie? Read that book?
No.
I wonder if Guernsey.
And I wonder
is a
too
take
if
on
Guernsey.
Gansey.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Right, because
Gansey.
it's Gansey sweaters.
Probably.
All
Maybe
the
that's how you're
textures
supposed to
just-
say it. Just like you
Yeah.
don't say Worcestershire, you say.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, it's probably Gansey. It's probably the Gansey wrap.
Right.
And so I thought, if I just make that wider, double the width, I have a baby blanket. And then if I take those textured stripes and I do them different colors, alternating these 3 colors, I'll have a baby blanket, and that's exactly what I did, and I love this baby blanket. And I have a picture of him. It's not a great picture, but I have a picture of him sleeping on his bed with this blanket, and he really loved that blanket, and I think it's still in his bed, and he's one who that was his blanket, and he knew Grandma made it. And so and they always didn't ever live around us. They always lived a little south of us, a couple states away, usually Virginia. Now in France. So I loved it that he was always sleeping with that blanket, and it was always on his bed. Whenever I went over, it was always on his bed. And knitting in the modern cotton, it was really lightweight. It's warmer down there than it is up here. They still have winter, but it was the perfect baby blanket, and I love that it was a scarf or a wrap that I just modified it. And then for Reddington's blanket, I also got a Perfect Blend yarn and tee on the way home from a vacation or something. Found out they were having a boy. And this is the Spud and Chloe sweater worsted superwash. And
it's cozy.
They're going to use the same crib, all that with the kind of gray and white accents as Harper, the Chevron blanket that I showed. So what I started doing then is just inventing my own pattern and not looking for a pattern, because I knew in my head what I wanted. And so this is basically, I just did like a 1-inch moss stitch edge, and I just did stripes. Of these 3 colors, blue, white, and I did different size stripes too. I can't remember how I decided to do it, but I just kind of drew a picture on my pad, and I just did it.
And why do I feel like this is the blanket you started twice?
Did I?
There was something you didn't like about it.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Or did you start a different pattern?
Maybe that's what I did, and then I decided to just do my own. Look, another end is poking through. I'll pull it through. But this,
I think so.
The thing is, I keep complaining that Elena's kids aren't using their blankets, but they look well used. Look, it looks like pilly. She must use them. But I have to say, whenever I babysit and I do bedtime, I pull the blankets out of the basket and put them on their beds. And then, totally off topic, but with the leftover yarn from that, I knitted my grandson Isaiah.
And those were so cute.
A little sweater, a little zipper hoodie.
Those turned out so well. Did you just knit one of these?
I just kind of made it up. I mean, I got a pattern for a hoodie sweater, and then I wanted to put in a zipper, and I did this pattern at the bottom. There wasn't any pattern.
Yeah, that turned out great.
Yeah, I have pictures of him in that, which maybe I'll insert. I guess I will. But one day we want to do a video about favorite baby knits, because we've done a lot of those, like clothing articles. Yeah. So that was fun. And then the last one that I made, I don't have with me either, and I don't even really have a great picture.
Daphne's?
Daphne.
It was beautiful. I love the color.
Called Sleeping Beauty by Diana Matthews, and I saw it. I knitted it in John Armour Knit by Numbers. That began my love affair with John Armour Knit by Numbers, which I got at Pick Up Every Stitch. Like this beautiful pink, and I fell in love with the pattern. I looked on Ravelry. This was one I searched and searched and searched on Ravelry, and I wanted something like girly and frilly and princessy, and I found this pattern, and it was unavailable. It was not for sale anymore. It was unavailable. So I just kept searching, and I found it somewhere else. Finally, I messaged the person on Instagram, Ravelry, and they never got back to me. I can't even remember where I found it. And then eventually I also found like an update of it. So I don't know if the original person did it, but it is the most beautiful blanket.
It is gorgeous.
It's a plain stockinette center with a moss stitch border, and then outside the moss stitch border, I'll insert the pictures I have. It has this little delicate cable border, and then a moss stitch picot edge. It's gorgeous.
It is.
I wonder if they use it.
So frilly.
Oh, I wonder if they use it. It's so beautiful.
Definitely an heirloom.
Definitely one of the most beautiful blankets I've ever made. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, really gorgeous. Anyway, and actually a friend saw me post on Instagram, and then she was going to knit something for a relative, and she bought the same yarn, knitted the same blanket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my friend Erin. So,
well, maybe if Laura has a girl, I'll knit another baby blanket.
Yeah, it's just the most beautiful. It's just gorgeous. So for my own family, I've knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 baby blankets, and then I started knitting them for friends. Not many. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for friends or acquaintances.
Some people she doesn't know.
So the first one I knitted for my daughter's best friend. I think we're gonna find out boy or girl. I just created a blanket in basket weave, I think.
So the green one, the mint?
No, this was actually white.
Okay.
And I did a sweater too. And then for a very dear friend that I actually babysit for on Fridays now. She had her second baby last May, COVID baby. I had knitted a blanket for her daughter. And what I did was I went to pick up every stitch, and they had these beautiful ombre kits, baby blanket kits. They didn't have the pink one. Her first daughter, first baby was a girl. So I wanted to knit this beautiful pink to white ombre baby blanket, but they didn't have the kit. So I was like, I can just make up an ombre. Other than that, it was just a simple stockinette blanket. So I bought, one of my favorite baby yarns you were asking.
Yes.
If you're gonna knit something for a baby, use Big Bad Wool, Weepaka, or P-Weepaka.
Yep. I was gonna ask you that.
Right? If I'm gonna knit for someone that I don't know and I'm not sure that they have been around hand knits.
Not superwash though.
It isn't. I mean, you still have to hand wash it.
I know that because I knit socks out of it and they got felted.
Yeah, they will felt. But with the blanket, again, like if it felts a little bit, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Really? But
no, it's so soft.
It's lovely.
And I think it's great against baby
It says
skin.
it's fine washable merino, but it's not really superwash. Yeah. But it's lovely yarn. So there's the Big Bad Wool. The Weepaka is is that a sport weight yarn?
I think it's a DK.
A DK. And then the P-Weepaka is a fingering slash.
Oh my gosh. And the colors that this comes in.
Lovely.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So for her, I used, and I wanted it to be a faster knit, so I chose the Weepaka, which is, we said it's a DK.
I think so.
It almost looks worsted, but it's not. What does it say the needle size is? 5 to 7 needle? That's DK, right? So for her, I had a pale pink and like a creamy white, and I did a third of the blanket in a pale pink, and then for a third of the blanket, I alternated, I don't know if it was single row or double row, as far as the color change goes. I alternated the pink and white, and then for the end I just did white, and it was an ombre blanket. It was perfect. It was beautiful. And I made her a little matching hat and other accessories. And so when her boy was due, I made her just a plain blue blanket, and I have become obsessed with a baby blanket with an extra wide moss stitch border. I just think it looks so elegant and classy.
I mean, that's a blanket you timed yourself how long it took you to knit and purl.
Did I?
Yeah, the rows.
Purl's always slower, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Ugh, so annoying. Ugh. I was just talking to somebody recently about how people have learned and taught themselves, you can take classes on it at Vogue Knitting, to knit one way and knit the other way.
Yeah.
So you knit across this way, like with your right hand, and then you just knit across the other way with your left hand. I think I might want to learn that. That sounds so fun. So for him, I definitely have cute pictures. This is also when I started taking cute pictures. Finally. Oh, actually, his sister's blanket, I only have a picture of it unfinished, so I'll insert that as well, the pink and white ombre blanket. And then his blanket, I have a really cute picture with a train set. I think it's cute. And I probably knitted him a hat as well. And then I knitted a simple blanket for another young friend. I'm friends with the grandparents. So I knitted her a blanket, and I knitted her that baby bear bonnet that we fell in love with.
That I made for Max too.
Yeah, we really should talk about those baby hats someday. They're just,
those are some of my favorite baby
hats. So cute. I don't even know if I have pictures of that. I think I do. So it's a mint green. She specifically wanted that color. And it was funny. I was thinking, we were obsessed with those baby bear bonnets. And I was thinking, I wonder if she'll mind, she was having a boy, if I make him a baby bear bonnet. And she, while I was thinking it, she texted me and said, can you put ears on the hat?
Oh, really?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's by Pernille Larson, I think, that pattern.
Oh, it's
I want to say.
Beautiful. You'll see it in the picture.
Yeah. It's
really sweet. And so hers, though, I might have made in P-Weepaka, which I'm regretting. Just because it's, I don't know. I don't regret it in the blanket, but in the baby bear bonnet, it doesn't have enough body. It's not dense enough to, I don't know.
I did mine in John Arben's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the fabric was definitely denser. I remember
yours was
about that.
Yeah, I mean mine was fine. And then I'm going to talk about my final very favorite baby blanket I ever knitted in my whole entire life, and I don't have it.
I don't even know what this is.
Yes, you do. It was that leaf baby blanket.
Yes, the one you took on vacation.
Yeah, a woman in my town, a young woman. I really don't know her that well. She owns a boutique. I knew her and her mom. I mean, it goes way back. I'm not going to tell you the whole story because it's way too much. But in the last year, well, it was exactly a year ago now, I can't remember now. Her mom and dad both passed away during these last 2 COVID years. Not necessarily of COVID. And I don't think her dad knew she was pregnant or knew she was going to have a baby when he passed away. He passed away first. But then her mom, she had had a stroke, but she knew her daughter was pregnant. And she was, you know, getting therapy and everything. Sweet, lovely. Oh, they're just so sweet. The mom was always in the boutique as well. Just amazing. Just love them. Lovely people. And then her mom passed away. And so she was pregnant. And I just imagined my daughters, you know, if they didn't have their mom around, not even if she lived far away, she could come visit. And so a lot of stuff. My daughter and I got these little wood chips and a little fake plant because it was winter. And we put a little basket outside the shop and we posted in this local Facebook group for moms of our town. And we let everybody know if anybody wanted to write a memory of one word to describe this woman's mother, because she passed away, on a wood chip to stop by. There's a Sharpie and these wood chips. And the young woman read them at the memorial service. Aww. She was so touched.
Oh, sweet.
But I immediately knew I wanted to knit her a blanket. So I knitted this gorgeous purple. Her mother's favorite color was purple. So it wasn't a traditional baby color.
And where did you buy that yarn?
I bought that at the observatory shop.
Oh, okay.
And
I remember the day you bought that.
Yeah, during COVID.
Juniper Moon?
Yes, Juniper Moon.
Yeah.
Juniper Moon Farm Harriet yarn. And I still find it really important during these crazy COVID days and just in general to support small business. I could have easily ordered yarn online, but I do like to touch it. I could have ordered Pee-wee Packa, but I knew specifically for this purple yarn because I knew her mom and I knew her. I wanted to pick something gorgeous. And I also just felt like I wanted to knit something organic. So leaves. I kept thinking of leaves.
I know. I remember looking at patterns for you.
Yeah, you were helping me find patterns. And I found a lot of beautiful patterns, but I found this one, the Leaf Baby Blanket by TL Crafts and Design. Fell in love with it and knitted this blanket.
It's super soft.
Here comes the mailman. Is he going to ring the bell or anything?
No.
Really one of the most gorgeous blankets I've ever knitted. And I made her a matching headband and I knitted a flower. I have this knitted flower pattern that I have used so many times for so many things. And
I remember.
Yeah. Actually, I brought a copy of it. But I knitted her a little headband, Head Huggers flower pattern 2, designed by Sue Thompson. I have knitted these flowers in so many different sizes. I put them on hats. I put them on sweaters. I love flowers. I drive a flower beetle. But these knitted flowers are so easy to knit, and I just love them. You can do them at any weight yarn, any size, you know, whatever. I just love them.
You make a flower crown.
Yeah, I just love them. I just love them. In the picture, it shows beads in the center. I never put beads on them, but I just love them. Anyway, so I made this little baby a purple headband to match her blanket with a little flower on it, purple flower. So that's it. That's my baby blanket extravaganza.
Extravaganza for sure.
I just love knitting baby blankets. I love giving them as gifts. I usually do knit a little hat or a set of booties or something to go with it, but sometimes, no, I usually always do.
And I didn't knit when my first 3 grandchildren were born. So I baked bread and I did crochet some bonnets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't knit. So.
Yeah. We learn when we learn, but I love, oops.
Yarn mess.
She has a yarn mess. Oh gosh, let me just take a sip of coffee.
It's a mohair mess.
But yeah, so let us know if you have any favorite baby blanket patterns in the
or recommendations
comments.
For yarn, for new parents.
Yep. I am by no means an expert on baby blankets. I mean, at all. But I just love knitting them. I love giving them. I love gifting them, and I always ask them to send me a picture of their baby wrapped in the blanket, and it might be the only time they ever use it.
Right, I know. I still don't have a picture of Max in his blanket, so
you don't. I know. Oh, we'll have to get one.
I'll work on that.
But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when are we going to air this one? I can't even remember. We did hit 5,000 subscribers.
I know.
So we are doing a giveaway. I can't remember if it will be over by the time this airs. But anyway, so thank you to our subscribers because we did hit 5,000. Yay! So exciting. And I guess that's it.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, your little lammy.
My lipstick.
It's okay. Every time we finish taping a video, I'm like, oh, was that really boring? Did I look at the camera?
There is this really cool website called Ravelry.
No, I'm not doing it. Yay! They like us. They really like us. I'm always terrified to look at the footage. Like, I can't even tell you. I put it off and I put it off. I'm terrified.
Yeah, I can see that.
To look at the footage.
Yeah, you always say it's great. So.
Mainly because we put so much time into filming and setting up and everything. I don't want to have to do it again, and we've never have had to.
No. Oh, except for when we don't.
When I forgot to turn the.
Yeah.
Did I turn the microphone on? I did.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, let me go check.